Hello everybody, welcome to the OAG RC. I'm Craig. Thank you very much for stopping by the channel today. I am here to talk Tamiya tools. And the reason I'm here to talk Tamiya tools, I thought I'd do a long-term review on these two sets of Tamiya tools, which I bought when I got back into the hobby 4 years or so, 5 years or so ago now. And the reason I bought them both is because this one was recommended to me if you're building vintage Tamiya kits, and this one was recommended to me if you're building more modern Tamiya kits. So the first question that's on everybody's lips is, what's the difference? So the first difference is this comes with a plastic case. It does still go on, but it's very difficult to get off. And these are very finicky to get back in again. Comes with a handle. The shape of the tools are this triangular shape, and they slot directly into the handle, as shown there. And that gives you a greater torque on whatever it is you're working on. And it comes out quite easily and quite nicely. To get the handle, you get two of these hex socket sets, and they're used predominantly for wheels going on and off. The older models use this one here, which is a slightly smaller size. Just seeing if this is in the back, what size it is. And uselessly, it doesn't tell me what size it is. That's a 5, it's a 5.5. It's got it written there, 5.5. And this one here is going to be a 7. So those two are really, really handy. You've got a flat-headed screwdriver there, which you can see a little bit of wear on the end of there, but not too bad. You've got a smaller one here, which I actually find, if I'm honest, to be quite useful. The smaller one does allow you to get into underneath transmitters and receivers or ESCs and really prize them out if you need to. So that's pretty useful. You get a small hex driver, which you can see here. And that there is for pinions mainly. And you can see on mine, there's quite a bit of wear on the end of that now. It still does the job, but it's probably getting a little bit old. And then you get 3 JSI screwdrivers in different sizes. The big one here is mainly used most of the time when assembling a kit. Occasionally when you're doing differential gears and things like that, you might switch to the other two. And you can see that there's a little bit of wear to the tool. They've held them quite well. Bear in mind, I've probably built around about 10, maybe 15 kits with these. So, a nice array of tools that you get in that first kit in a nice red colour, and really simple, really easy to use. The other set comes, still an 8-piece set, but it comes in a nicer presentation box. This stand actually does a better job of standing upright compared to the one that you saw before, which can be a little bit wibbly wobbly. You still get another handle. This one is slightly different. You've got a nice textured grip on it, a rubberized grip on it, but it does lack those finger holds to pop your finger in to get a bit of extra grip. So I'm not entirely sure which one I prefer, if I'm honest, but interestingly, both sets of tools fit into both grips. These, the blue ones, do tend to go in there slightly tighter, and they require a bit more of a force to get them out. 2 socket sets again, 7, and a 5.5. So you've got both that you saw before, exactly the same. There is only one flat-headed screwdriver in this one, and it is the larger variant of the two. You only get 2 screwdrivers. You get the big boy, which we saw before, which is used predominantly again for most of the sets. And then you get this one here, which you can see I've not actually used that much, used for differential gears and so on and so forth. And then you get the tiny little hex driver there, which we use for pinion gears. And then you get these two as well. And the reason you get these two is because a lot more modern sets need hex drivers. And if you look, we can get in, zoomed in, there's quite a bit of wear on those over the last couple of years. I haven't built many models that required me to use the hex drivers for building them, and they have worn quite quickly. So very, very similar. So of course the question you both want to know is which one is better. I suppose to answer that question, it really depends upon what sort of Tamiya kit you are building. And I go back to that advice that was given to me right at the outset. If you're using, mainly building old Tamiya models, I would suggest you get the red set, because there is far more variation in there and you're not going to need these hex drivers that you get in the blue section. But if you're going to be building more modern Tamiya kits, I think you're better off going for the bluer set, because there is some more options there in terms of the hex drivers. However, what I would say is if you're going to be building modern kits, you might want a better set of hex drivers than those. There is nothing wrong with the JS screwdrivers for building Tamiya kits. They're great, and I would strongly recommend you get some. But you don't necessarily need all of those tools. Now, what I would say, that I forgot to mention, is all of them are metallic. Yeah. So it does help when you're preloading, getting ready to drill into the various different holes. It does help. And they are all JIS screws. So that is a JIS screw. You probably, and I can't tell the difference, and you probably can't tell the difference. There are plenty of videos out there that explain the difference. But what I found in my use is you're less likely for that head to round out of there and pop out when using the correct screws. And therefore you're less likely to round one of the heads of the screws off when you're working on your Tamiyas, which I find to be very, very helpful. Because I'm a bit of a klutz. There you go. Tamiya tools, long-term review. Would I buy them again? Yes. I would like a better set of hexes, so I'm in the market for a better set of those. But I've found the Tamiya tools to be pretty reliable. And like I said, I've used these now for about 5 years, not really got any complaints about them. And I'm very fortunate enough to have bought both sets. Hopefully, that was really useful. If it was, please drop me a like, drop me a subscribe, leave me a comment, do all that other cool stuff. And let me know if you want to see more of these videos explaining the type of stuff that I get up to and what sort of tools I use on the hobby. Thanks for watching. See you again soon. Bye for now.